Everyone but you is muted on this call.
Welcome to the Warren Fleet conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Later, you will have the opportunity to ask questions during the question and answer session. It's now my pleasure to turn the conference over to Joe Stephan. Please go ahead, sir.
All right, thanks, Luke. Hello, welcome everybody. We made it past another holiday. We got another 4 weeks before we have another holiday. Luckily, 4th of July falls on a Saturday this year, so it's generally going to be one day of business is closed, so that's a good thing. Today on the call, you got myself, Joe Stephan, Director of Van Operations, and Ben Cochran, Director of Safety. Ben, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, happy June, everybody. Another month is in the books, and it's National CPR and AED Awareness Week. So, I know we got a few folks in here get requalified or qualified here in the last couple of weeks. It's also Bed Bug Awareness Week. Ew, right? And the National Flag Football Week. So it's like, what do they think of next? But my whole point of that is every week is Safe Driving Week. Okay, so this week's talking points are lane change, accident prevention, and if your fleet manager hasn't talked to you already, they're going to do it here this week, and just some awareness of what's out there. Leave yourself plenty of distance. When you have to make a lane change, obviously, do the 2-look method in the mirror. You look, you lean and look, you have your turn signal on for at least 5 seconds, and then you gradually make that lane change to avoid anybody that happened to be in your blind spot in between that process. Those lane change accidents are our most costly accident, most frequent of the critical crashes. So far this year we've had 2. The last one was a result of a distraction. So not only doing the proper lean and look method and knowing about your surroundings, but also avoid the distractions inside your cab. Our last accident, we were stopped at a stoplight, and our operator was looking at his GPS to try to navigate his best way to avoid tolls. Happened before he decided to leave for the day, but sure enough, he decided to do it at a light because his GPS was toggling. It was thinking. It was disrupting, and so he was waiting for that to get back online, completely focused on that and nothing else. Once that got working, he immediately turned left and into a vehicle. So avoid distractions. Over the weekend, we also had our 3rd cell phone violation. The operator still unknown as far as the details, but obviously a DOT enforcement officer witnessed one of our operators using a handheld phone while operating a commercial motor vehicle. An absolute no-no. You can be fined up to $10,000, but most importantly, you're distracted and it could cause a serious accident. We did a really good job of we stumbled out of the blocks in 2026 by having a couple of those, but we went almost 3 months without distraction inside the vehicle. We've had 2 instances in the last week. So focus when you're driving is what's in front of you. Nothing else matters as far as in-cab disruptions. Okay, so let's have another 3, 4, 5, 6 with that. Just want to remind everybody to continue their quarter 2 training, hazmat training. I think we whittled it down to about 60 operators. The expectation last week. So those of you that have not done it, please get that done this week so we can make sure that we reward you at the end of the year for doing that quarterly training. And it's a requirement. A lot of people have asked us, well, I don't have it on my license and we don't haul hazmat. Well, that's partially incorrect. We don't haul the big nasty stuff, the placarded, the explosive stuff like that, but we do on occasion haul a lot of stuff occasionally for John Deere that are pressurized gas related, or on our short haul, we've been known to haul very, very small quantities of flammable stuff for like Menards and whatnot. So it's not placarded. You don't need it on your license, but it is a requirement that you have some elementary education training on it, and that is exactly what we're providing in our quarter 2 training, and that is required every 3 years. So Joe and I had to take it, and heck, if him and I can pass it, you guys can get it done in 20-30 minutes. So appreciate getting that requirement done, and look forward to getting those rest of the folks done and taken care of. So other than that, let's have a great start to June. Let's have an outstanding month. Watch your following distance, 68 seconds. I shared with our operations group a really good video on the van side. Gary McBean was traveling about 6 to 8 seconds in front or behind a lot of congested traffic ahead of him, and you could see a couple cars collide in the far right lane. It ended up being a 4 to 5 car pileup with vehicles stopped in the middle of the road. And had he been following 4 seconds or less, or even 5 seconds or less, he would have been involved in that crash. So kudos to him. Kudos to all you operators that have that mindset of 68 seconds and get hardly any Linux following distance events. You're doing the right thing. It may not happen now. It may not happen for 10 years, but the minute that you follow too close, you're increasing your chances of a crash by a lot. So appreciate you maintaining those following distance. And if you get Linux events, please log in. Look, not a bad idea to get into a habit of logging into Linux. You're going to get the email confirmation if event pops up. It's game film. It helps you be a better operator. It helps keeps our Linux score down, and overall, we improve our safety scores and really eliminate a lot of the crashes that are unnecessary. So appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. I'll turn it back over to Joe.
All right, thanks, Ben. I appreciate you. So I've got a couple things to talk about. So first of all, I want to talk about rates. So rates, folks, are going up. We had the targets that we were aiming to get to, and we are ahead of pace on our targets. It's a good thing. The marketplace is supporting it. We have our teams, our sales, customer service, operations, all the teams are out there looking and working with existing customers and new customers to grow the rates on the loads you haul. Man, it's been due. You've heard us talking about it, but I want you to know we are doing it and we're getting it. So I want to give you a couple examples and then a little bit more of a general thing of what's happening here behind the scenes. So one is a brand new customer that we went back to shortly after winning business just a few months ago and said, I'm sorry, but the rate's not enough and we need more. And they have not approved all, but they've approved quite a few of them. So we have some great new business out of Oklahoma City for Hobby Lobby that is a drop and hook pickup and live and load delivery. The rates are very attractive. They fit our network. We land in that Kansas, Oklahoma, North Texas area. Sometimes we need loads. We have some feeder loads that go into them, short ones from Dallas that go right to Edmond or Oklahoma City, things like that. So those things are built to get you more money into your pocket. So that's a great win. It's a new customer that we already got an increase on. And then we got another longer term customer that we went back to and said, hey, we know we got our award, but we need to get higher rates. Folks, we went back to Carrier air conditioners and we've just been approved to increase to a pretty substantial increase. A lot of the loads you're hauling are going to pay you a couple $100 to $250 more depending on the length of haul. That's real money that's going to get to your pocket. So trust the operation, trust the system. It is growing. The rates are going to be coming effective. I don't know the exact date, if it's June 15th or whatever it is. We're growing the rates. And then the third thing we're doing while we're going after the customers for the contract business, we are working spot markets with existing customers primarily, and even some with brokers. I still cringe when I say brokers because you get accurate information out of them, and then you have a poor experience at the shipper or the receiver. Maybe you needed to have some PPE that they didn't list in the rate confirmation. Maybe there was some other thing. So whenever we can do the spot bids at the market rates with our direct customers, that's the route we're gonna aim at to take care of them and service a need for them that they need to have accomplished, but at a more profitable margin. Folks, the rates are hitting it. This is the place to be for it. We're on top of it on both contract and on the spot market. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is about our following distance and on our Lytics scores and all that stuff. Everybody, I want you logging in on your driver app. Check your score. The goal is 0. The goal isn't 20 or 30 or 15 or 742. The goal is 0. Now maybe you're not going to get there every single month, but the goal, it's a new month, new June. If you got no events in June, let's see if you can get through tomorrow with no events in June. I want to make sure every contractor out there is engaged and understanding that, hey, this is something that's important. Not everyone, I'll put it this way, no one who has an accident, Ben talked about a couple accidents we had, preventable, maybe non-preventable, probably preventable. No one plans to have an accident, but only the true professional owner operators out there plan to not have an accident. You have to plan your day. You have to plan your mindset. You have to plan your driving habits to not have a crash. You're the best drivers on the road. Act like it, do it, understand that logging in and taking a look at what happened out in the roadway is something you can learn from. So we have a high expectation that our contractors are the best in the business and always want to be better. The best in any business always want to improve. I know we do, and that's why we're chasing really hard. Even with some big wins that we've gotten on rates, we're chasing really hard, saying it's not enough. It's not enough. We're trying to get more. Well, that's what we're asking you to do with regard to safety and safe driving expectations. Make sure you've got that side of your business in order so that when you're talking to your fleet manager doesn't have to have a conversation about safety. Your fleet manager is saying, okay, let me put a lineup in front of you. It's going to make you a bigger settlement this month than I could have got you last month, because we can do it. We can do it together. So let's work on growing the rates, work on hauling the loads that we have, hauling the loads that pay higher rates, and then overall, starting every day, planning to not have a crash. Luke, please remind our callers how to register for a question.
Hi, everyone. For your questions, please go ahead and press #1 on your phone. Again, that's #1 on your phone for a question. We have one from Stephen Burnett. Go ahead, please.
I've got a question as far as like in Memphis where y'all like stage trailers, y'all been using C&K trucking. And one of the experiences I went in there on the weekend to pick it up, and that thing was just clustered with all the container drivers dropping their trailers everywhere. And there was no one available on the weekends to move all those trailers out of the way for me to get the trailer I need. So I was wondering if there's a way y'all can use a different location instead of that C&K trucking.
I will tell you, one of the most challenging things for us is to come by a drop yard that we can get to that's relatively economical. We have a handful of them. C&K is one of them. We do utilize them. It is a convenience to our contractors so that there's a location to drop. On a weekend, yeah, if they're boxed in, there's not a lot of extra opportunities in Memphis. I know Indianapolis and Lewisburg, Nashville area. We've tried a couple different vendors, but we just couldn't get there. We do have one in Moline, Illinois. We have one in Augusta, Georgia, where we pay fees for those spots, and we pay fees as well, and also in Von Ormy in San Antonio, Texas. I don't know how
much you pay for the spots, but yeah, Riggy's in Memphis, on Holmes Road, $25 a day what they charge.
Mm-hmm. I'll follow up with you and get some numbers, okay?
That's where I leave my personal vehicle. That Riggy's is a better place to park trailers, stage them, wherever you need it.
All right, Stephen. I appreciate the feedback. I'll give you a call and I'll follow up offline from this to get a few more details from you, okay?
Yeah, it's gated entry. Drivers just download an app, get in and get out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's free laundry, showers, everything.
Gotcha. I'll follow up with you after the call to get some more details and go through that, get some numbers and whatnot.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and press #1. We have one more question from Robert Cervantes. Go ahead.
Good morning. Last week I was to Laredo and I was told to go through the yard and get it inspected. When I got to the customer, they told me they weren't sure whether they were gonna unload me or it was gonna be a drop. And this has occurred several times. Why is it that we're having going to go to the yard, getting inspected, and then getting unloaded, and then bringing back the trailer?
I'm in the same boat. I'm hammering on our customer service team to tell us, hey, we got to know if we're live unloading or not. So we check on every single one, and before you go, your dispatcher's checking to say, what are we doing? And our customer is not giving us accurate information. We run into the same issue with Caterpillar, where we got to show up to find out whether or not they're going to allow us to drop the trailer. And we're working with both of those customers, Diamond B and Caterpillar, to get a better experience for our drivers. We just need them to tell us, are you going to accept the delivery or not? And so that's something that is a frustration, Robert. We could walk away from the, right now our options are to walk away from the loads until they give us straight answers, or to keep working with them and try to get to a resolution. I prefer the latter approach because they are attractive loads rate-wise, and they go to where a lot of contractors like to go. But we need to get more details ironed out from them to make it a better experience.
All right. Yeah, I just thought I should bring it up, but I guess you're aware of it.
Unfortunately, yes, I am aware of it, and it is something that it's frustrating for me because we're not getting the traction out of our customer that we want to get. Maybe we ought to hold one of those loads in our yard for a while and see if that entices them.
All right, thank you very much. Next comes from Chad Carruthers.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Chad.
Hello?
Hey, Chad, go ahead.
I was in Quad City, freight, yesterday morning. And, we only had, the trailer I dropped in there was the only empty on the, at their loaded trailer yard, there was only 2 trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And usually we have 8 or so trailers in there. Are we losing some of those lanes, or we just happen to just get low on our trailer pool there?
We're allocating our trailers to higher paying customers.
Okay.
No, that's an excellent question. That is by intention over the last, without getting too deep into the weeds and details, there have been options presented that they want to get more trailers of what they need to do with regard to rate that they don't quite want to do. And so we're not walking away, but they're just getting fewer trailers.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed, I've never been there. I've been out there, quite a bit, and had that low of a trailer pool for Warren in there, I'm thinking, anyway, okay, well, that sounds good.
Yep. Best rate gets the trailer. That's the business we're in, because I tell you what, for 2.5 years, it was the cheapest rate got the truck. And so that has turned, and we are laser focused on getting the highest paying freight in front of you.
Right, I agree. Okay, just curious, okay.
Excellent question.
And again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and press #1. We don't have any other questions.
All right, I got one more thing I want to wrap up with. I implored everybody to be engaged on the safety side of things, as engaged on that as we are on chasing the higher rates. So I want everyone to log in to Lytx at least once per week. And everyone who does log into their Lytx, and not just log in, look at and if you got any videos, you got to look at them, but log in and look at your videos, and everybody who does will be entered into a drawing for an additional truck wash each Monday. So please, if you're watching this call, or if you're not watching this call and you have some friends that work here, say, hey, if you haven't, go ahead and log into Lytx. They're going to give away a truck wash once a week. It'll be a blue beacon, just like we do normally, that I owe you guys next week on this call for logging into this call. We want you engaged. We want you making more money. That's what we're here to get you doing. Appreciate your time on the call, and appreciate especially your hard work and safe driving out on the road. Have a great day.